Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. It's Carpo. Taking a break from working in my shop to make a quick inspirational video for y'all. So take it for what you will. And I heard a slogan, or no slogan, I guess a little saying that, and I wasn't sure what they were referring to, but I think it was something along the lines of Zen. But it says, in Zen you will have everything you want, because you won't want anything. And I thought that that was very clean, very organized way to express something that can't be expressed. There's an old story, I'm not sure how far back it goes, and I don't recall who wrote it, but he was writing about a king who had an issue with his brother or his friend over some land, and in the end he got very, very angry at the man. And the terminology that they used within the story was, he was so angry, it was as if an atom had split within him. And we don't know exactly how much they knew about atomic energy, but that may be a very close approximation of what happens in our bodies when we're angry or violent. That we may on some minute level be splitting atoms to create this energy. And it's an allegory. You don't have to take it literal, however it may be, to an extent literal. And our idea of separateness is what's keeping us from happiness. Because as long as we remain divided over the details of what life is, then we will continue to suffer. And humanity has the ability, everyone has the ability to be happy within themselves. And this requires no more than a change of mindset. Now, you've heard this over and over, but the idea of the splitting of the atom within the body, when one is angry, or fearful, vengeful, this is akin to wasting energy and exerting force that is not necessary. There was an old Buddhist monk who said that he said, I don't even like to walk. I won't even take a walk unless I have to. He said he refuses to exercise because exercising is expending energy, and expending energy is wasteful. The ultimate goal, of course, of everyone in exercising in our world is to remain healthy. Not everyone can just sit around all the time. That's not what I'm saying. It's that we expend energy doing things that we know we shouldn't. For example, every time we drink a cup of coffee, we are pushing ourselves closer to death, because the ancient belief system was that we have a finite amount of energy, each one of us, and that we utilize that energy. And if we can learn to conserve, then we can do better. So how do we conserve? We conserve by stopping our wants and stopping our hates. Often our hates are based on our wants, because we hate others for what they have. We hate others for what they do. We hate others for what they believe. And they're likewise hating us. So, and when I say us, I mean us as a species, because I hate no one. I have abandoned all animosity. I find myself getting perhaps heated sometimes when I'm discussing an important issue, and that's natural. I'm not going to abandon emotion, because that is also part of the whole system of energy. But people have the ability to be content at all times. And it seems like, of course, there will always be issues that arise that will catch one off guard. But for example, a very calm person could have come home to their house burning down and remain calm. In today's society, if you remain calm in the face of tragedy, you're the suspect. For example, if someone you love were killed, or something, your home were blown up or burned down, and you came home to it, and you remained calm over the issue and didn't become emotional, everyone would see you as a suspect. That's how our society works. We expect people to break down over everything. Now, those are extreme issues, extreme examples. Of course, if it was something more mundane, like you lost all your money, that's a great one. Someone's like, dude, we got ripped off, our business collapsed, we lost everything. And you say, oh well, it's time for a fresh start. When it's an issue you can't control, I can honestly say that's the best approach to it. If it's something that you can't change, it's something that's happened, you need to attack the issue as a part of learning, a part of life, a learning curve to teach you something. And when we fight against the current of life, it brings us no joy. Everyone out there knows that when you don't stand up when you're feeling down, then you're fighting against the current. You need to get back on your horse and move along. And we attach ourselves to our misfortunes so greatly, it seems like. I rarely hear people talk about how great something was in the day before, or how much fun they had at the park. But you always hear when a person's sick, when a person has lost their job. Everyone wants to express themselves when they're feeling down, because they need the backing of each other to move past it. But sometimes they take it too far, and they want everyone to feel sorry for them. Now, for that person, it's too bad, because the energy that's being wasted on this past event, I don't really even know how to express that. We've all attached ourselves to things that have happened to us, but if I was obsessed over my dad dying, or I was obsessed over losing my business, or any of the things that have happened to me in my life, it would be a waste of my energy. I look at everything as a launching. Some people get fired from their jobs and they commit suicide. I mean, this is the type of society that we've created, where people commit suicide because they lose their jobs. We have identified ourselves with our jobs and with our incomes and with our status, and it's a complete waste of time. I'm no longer, in my life, personally searching for any particular answer to anything. I'm merely gaining knowledge because I think that it helps to build my repertoire and helps to build my if you want to speak about issues and you want to talk with people and have them listen to you, then you have to at least do some homework. Just because you did a lot of studies in college doesn't mean that you're prepared to debate in the big world of the ethereal realms, or just because you took a class in spirituality doesn't mean that you are a spiritual person. But what I mean is that each person has to learn constantly, and we have to update ourselves. And that means updating everything we believe, listening to new people, new ideas, and not shutting anything out, no matter how ridiculous it may sound. To me personally, in my personal life, I find a lot of things that I hear ridiculous, a lot of theories on who we are and why we're here. The 6,000-year creationists, to me, it's a ludicrous idea. Yet I give them the respect, because, if they want to believe that dinosaurs' bones were put here to test us, or that humans walked with dinosaurs, or whatever they want to do to try to tie science into their beliefs, that's only going to hold them back. And I use that example because this is what I mean about taking new information and assimilating it into your current belief system. If something, science was never meant to conflict with religion. Science was designed to confirm the existence of something bigger by utilizing a scientific method to convince people that things are true, other than trying to just say, hey, I saw this and this is what's true, or I read this and this is what's true. So as the times change and the evidence changes, instead of taking that knowledge and putting it forth to help us to be better people, we shun it and say that it's a lie, or it's a tactic, or it's misinformation. We never want to take anything about ourselves and realize that we may have been wrong. But when one is ready to give up all of that and move past being wrong and just realize that we are too small to understand the vast existence of something larger than us, then, we're going to continue to argue. The goal is for everyone to have faith that there's something greater than them, yet not have to defend that point of view against anyone. And that's to me paradise, a place where everyone can have their own belief system and no one's shut out just because they have a slightly different God. And as long as we're stuck in the dogma, that's not going to happen either. So I've myself kind of tried to figure this out for many years. How do we go about this issue? How do we empower ourselves while others around us are telling us that we're wrong, or that we're trying to tell others they're wrong? Well, the idea is to move away from everything that is negative. Move away from the part of society that is negative. I hear a lot of people speak about how they're seeing a lot of negativity on YouTube, and or during some event, they'll say, I've seen so much hatred, so many negative comments, and more often than not, I don't know what they're talking about at all. And I'm on YouTube just as much. It's about who do you associate with, what types of issues do you get involved in. Are you obsessed with politics? Are you obsessed on blaming Obama for all of life's drama? Are you thinking that the laws are holding you back from your full potential? What we have to do is look around at the world, see what it is, see how it works, and make it work for us in a way that's beneficial to all. When you give up the resistance, everything just flows. And what people expect it just happen overnight. And this is what I think the Western approach is. We want this instant awareness, We want to be able to either pick up a book and read it, or watch a television show and say we know everything about something. And it's become just absolutely preposterous, because so much of it is such a waste of time. It's a distraction. People talk about the distraction in the media, and then they talk about how their stories are so much more important that they're not covering, what's behind 9/11. All of it's bullshit. None of it matters. All of those things are beyond our control. And people want to be in control, but the fact is there's nothing that you can do about some of these large issues other than to be aware of them and speak your mind. There's nothing wrong with that. Say, hey, we know that the bankers run the show. We know that the government's not acting the way they should. But don't spend every minute of every day trying to find faults in the world around you, because if you do, it's only going to hold you back. It's not going to do anything for you. It's not going to help you. It's not going to, there's not going to be some major breakthrough where you can change the world through complaining. Every issue must have a resolution. And the resolution to our problem of self-pity and loathing is to stop trying to defend ourselves against each other. We all have different perspectives. Each one of us sees in a totally different spectrum of the mind. And when you and I look at a window, we see them differently. When you and I look at a car or a truck, we see them differently. Think about If you see a car on the road that's one you used to drive, you're going to have this total different image than somebody who got hit by one. It's every little thing that we don't talk about, the things that we can't compare. That's what sets us as individuals, and we have to realize how to have empathy, and to kind of laugh off some of the smaller stuff in life, because it's only holding each individual from becoming his true self, to totally realizing who he is. So embrace everything, reject nothing, but be aware and let people know how you feel, because that's what we're here to do, is express ourselves as the ultimate embodiment on this planet of a consciousness that can talk and create and build. It's a fascinating thing. Every time I drive down the street, I'm just fascinated that cars can function the way we do. I see the traffic moving in and out, people all distracted on their phones, doing all kinds of stuff, but hardly any accidents ever. And that's even years ago, like about a decade ago is when I was really observing traffic like that, and I thought, this is how I know that people are connected magnetically, and just like birds and fish, and how we move as a group, and you see the world differently through those observations, and all of a sudden every blade of grass becomes the entirety of the universe, and it's no bullshit. It's pretty fascinating stuff. So all I can say is, I can't tell anybody how to be happy, but what works for me is to live with integrity and values and be the best person you can. Try to help people along the way. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Be who you are. Do what you can, and don't look down on yourself because you're not as good at something as someone else is. I have plenty of faults that I'm working on, and instead of seeing them as something wrong with me, I see them as challenges, new hurdles to overcome, because without them, life becomes awfully boring, and there's no time for boredom. Namaste, everybody. Have a great weekend.